Hi everybody, Charles here. Welcome to Backroads Living. In today's society, we never know what can happen from day to day, and we've seen that throughout this entire year. 2020 has been a very unpredictable year with everything that's went on. We've seen all kinds of riots and civil unrest, and just seem like things would just break out at a moment's notice. So we need to be prepared for these things if we possibly can. And at this point, I'd like to say, if you enjoy our videos, that you would subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and click that bell icon when you subscribe, and you'll be notified of our recent videos as we upload them. Share us with your social media networks. When you interact with our page by liking and subscribing and sharing, commenting, leaving your comments, it helps us with YouTube. They, in turn, will put us in people's feed that they can see our videos, and they'll make suggestions that they watch our videos. So when you do that, it really helps us, and we appreciate it when you do that. So thank you ahead of time. But in today's video, we're going to be discussing some things you're going to need if you were to have to leave your home in a hurry. All right, let's get into this video, and let's discuss some items that you're going to need if you were to have to leave your home in a hurry. Most people call these bug out bags, and they're things that are essential that if you were to have to leave your home at a moment's notice, there are things that you need to take with you because you don't know how long you may have to be gone. Most people try to prepare a bug out bag for 72 hours. So were you to have to leave your home, you would need to be able to get by. You'd need to be able to survive without being in your home. And a bug out bag can help you do that. And as I said in the opening here, that we live in a very unstable world, a very unstable society at this time. And we never know what's going to happen, at the next moment anymore. Things are just constantly taking place in this, in the country we live in. Used to, just a few years ago, you never heard of anything like what's going on this year right here in the States. You always heard of these things in foreign lands. Civil unrest and rioting, the way it went on here this year. We never saw that like this before, and it's not over. That's the thing about it. And the things that are going on with this pandemic, it's not over either. This thing's just now started all over again, and there are forces that are not going to let it ease up. It's just going to continue. So things are going to get gradually worse, and we need to be prepared for it. You need to be prepared for it. First off, you need to be prepared with your heart, mind, and soul in the Lord Jesus Christ. If you don't know Him, I pray that you seek Him and find Him before it's eternally too late. And secondly, you need to be prepared physically. We all need to be prepared physically because we still live in this life. We still live in this body. And we have to take care of the temple that God has given us. And, we've been given responsibility to take care of those who we're in charge of, whether it be our spouse or our children, or in some cases our elderly parents. So, we're responsible for people, and we have to keep that in mind. And as long as we're alive in this earth, then we have responsibilities to take care of this temple and those temples around us that we're responsible for. So preparing for emergencies is most certainly a godly thing to do. It's a responsible thing to do. And preparing for a way to make it outside your home if you live in an area where you may have to bug out or leave your home unexpectedly in the middle of the night. That's a very responsible thing to do, is to prepare for that to happen. And the way you prepare for that is by making or creating yourself a bug out bag. I've kind of dreaded this video a little bit, I guess, because it stresses me a little bit, to be honest with you, to think about people having to just pack up and leave in the middle of the night with their children. It's a little difficult to think that, but I know that, things like this can happen, and we have to be prepared for them regardless. So here's some things that you might want to consider to have in a bug out bag. And a bug out bag can consist of just a backpack. It doesn't have to be a large one. You can pick up backpacks at Goodwills or thrift stores or second-handed stores. The Goodwill here in our community, they have backpacks, I think, for like $4.99 or $4.98, and some of them are like brand new, and they're just excellent, good, sturdy backpacks. So you can find a backpack fairly easy and fairly inexpensive. But we're going to go over some things. I had spoke to Heidi. She had posted this on our community here on YouTube yesterday, and I had been considering this. I had been researching it a little bit to do a video on this, and the Lord works in ways that we don't always understand, and I have been going over some of these things and making mental list of things that we might need or somebody else might need in a backpack or a bug out bag. And when I saw that, I thought, well, I'll just ask her if she cares if I go over her list, because we've pretty much come across the same things, and I'm sure there's things that you'll want to add to this, or that might help. You may have some suggestions that might help. Please feel free to comment and leave your insight and your knowledge and your wisdom here for us that others may gain from it. We really appreciate your comments when you leave them, on our videos. We really appreciate that, because it really helps other people. I've seen so many people leave comments about how much they've been helped by this community. And buddy, that's what it's all about, being able to help other people in times that they're under stress or under duress or having anxiety or things like that, or fears. We need to help people. And let me say thank you. You guys do that. You men and women do that here. You seasoned preppers here, y'all are wonderful. So let's go through this list and think about some of these things. And you don't have to have, like I said, you don't have to have a specific bag, just a backpack. Just a backpack will do. Make sure it's sized to the person. If you have children, you'll want to get a backpack for them if they're old enough to carry one, and backpack for the adults. So let's look at some of these things. The first thing is you need identification. You'll need a good, I would use a freezer type Ziploc bag. They're thicker to put all your essential documents in. You'll need family pictures of you and your wife, or your husband, your spouse, and your children as a group, so you can be identified together, of each family member that would have to leave the house. It just makes it easier. If you were to be separated from the children or separated from somebody and you needed to find them, you'd have a picture that people could look at, and you wouldn't have to try to explain what somebody looked like. You need a list of addresses and phone numbers, email addresses. All that goes into this bag together. Keep all these essential papers together in one bag. The next thing you'll need is a change of clothing. If you're going to be out 72 hours, you need to change your clothing. Just to change clothing and put on fresh underwear and fresh socks and fresh clothes makes it so much more bearable if you're in a situation like this. You'll need a change of clothing according to the season. So you'll need 3 pairs of socks and 3 changes of underwear, and hats and scarves if it's cold weather, sweaters and sweatpants and things like that. Take that into consideration, and this all needs updated seasonally. You'll need to change this stuff seasonally. Keep that in mind. You'll need snacks for each individual, at least 3 snacks a day if you possibly can, even if it's just snack crackers or things like that. It needs to be non-perishable food, of course, and if you've got juices or if you've got things like that stacked in your bag, I always check the expiration date on them. These things need updated. You need to look into this stuff once every 6 months or so and make sure everything's fresh and updated and ready to go. I mentioned this yesterday. in yesterday's video, you need some paper money. If you have to leave your home in the middle of the night or even in the day or whatever it might be, if you have to bug out and leave your home for whatever reason, you need some cash. I wouldn't carry $100 bills and $50 bills. I would get some cash and keep it around in small denominations like 1s, 5s, and 10s. I don't even know that I carry many 20s. I wouldn't want people to think that I have much money on me. But you definitely need some cash money to travel with, and not depend on a credit card, because you may be in situations where you can't use a credit card. And you need to also make sure that you keep your money hidden. Don't let people see it. Don't let people know what you've got. If you're going in a store and you're planning on spending $20, you need to have the $20 in your shirt pocket or something, where you don't have to pull out extra money for people to see that you've got it. Just kind of keep those kind of things in mind. You don't want to expose what you have for others to see. Each of your kids will need their own bag if possible, if they're old enough to carry a bag. And then you as parents, you do need to carry prescription medication if you have prescription meds that you have to take, and you need to get the refills ahead of time, get you some extra in there, and always remember to update that. Always remember to update your medication in these bags as it needs updated. This stuff all has expiration dates, so remember to rotate it. Over-the-counter medications, including Benadryl. You'll need a first aid kit. You can make one if you need to. Just assemble your own first aid kit. Chewable vitamins, cough drops, hard candy, something to give you a little bit of energy, or to something just to snack on in between meals. And another thing you're going to have to consider is water. Now, everybody can't carry water. It would be ideal if you could take a gallon of water per person. That would be ideal if you could have some way to attach that to a backpack and carry it. But I know everybody can't. Water weighs about 8.5 gallons per gallon, 8.5 pounds per gallon. So that could get pretty heavy if you were having to walk instead of being in a vehicle. So if you had to bug out, be sure you have a life straw, a cellular straw, maybe a collapsible water bottle to put in your backpacks that you could gather water in out of a pond or a creek, a stream, a lake, or something like that, and you can always use that straw to filter the water to make it drinkable. You can use the straw to filter the water to cook with. You need to keep that in mind. You need to have straws. You need to have some kind of water filtration system. And I do have a link to those life straws in the description below. If you can't find them at your local stores, then you can find them on Amazon. So, but first look locally. If you can get them locally, don't wait on them to be shipped to you, because you never know when you're going to need one. Maybe items like nail cutters was mentioned here, tiny scissors and a pocket knife. I always have a pocket knife of some kind. Everybody, if you're going to be out and about doing anything, you need a pocket knife, and always have a pocket knife in your backpack. And scissors. Always have scissors in your backpack. You will need them with a first aid kit. And in that first aid kit, always have tape. Don't forget your tape. You need that really bad in a first aid kit. You need fire starters. If you get caught out away from your home, you may have to cook outdoors, Who knows what may happen, but you need fire starters. Cigarette lighters. I prefer cigarette lighters because it's just a click and you've got an instant fire. But if you don't have any and you're caught off guard, have fire starters. Have matches. Put matches in a Ziploc bag and keep them dry, so you'll have them in case something were to happen to the lighter. Sometimes a wheel will break off these lighters or something. You never know what can happen. And speaking of fire starters, we had a suggestion in our community here a couple of days back that I want to share with you. Scott and Deborah Nelson shared their fire starter ideal. They said they put the cotton balls in a sandwich bag before they put them in toilet paper rolls. What they do is they take cotton balls and soak them in Vaseline and put them down in toilet paper rolls. And then they put that in a Ziploc bag so the Vaseline doesn't soak through the toilet paper roll and get everything wet. And those make excellent fire starters. But you can just drop that right down in a Ziploc bag and zip it up, and that'd be a really good fire starter if you needed something to start a campfire outside with. And then Nancy Campbell said that her daughter saves all her big straws, like the ones for smoothies, the great big ones, you know, that they put in those smoothies. She cuts them into 1-inch pieces, seals one end with a lighter. She just melts one end of it with a lighter, then puts a cotton ball with Vaseline in it into the straw and seals the other end. She says it burns a little longer than the toilet paper roll, which would be good on a windy day while trying to start a fire. So there's another idea. You can put these in plastic straws, the big straws, and seal the ends, and you've got your cotton ball with Vaseline inside that straw. And once you light that straw on fire, then it's going to light the cotton ball, and you're going to have a fire starter there for a campfire. You know, if you can start a campfire from these strikers, then you can most certainly start a campfire from a cotton ball like that to cook on. Now, you do need a small pot of some kind to boil water in your backpack, and somebody's backpack, the parents preferably. You'll need a pot to boil water in so you can fix quick meals if you have dried soup, if you have noodles, if you have anything like that, and you need to consider that in your backpack, what kind of food you're going to put there. Dried soups work well, but you have to have water for them. You know, stuff like noodles, and if you're going to have tea, or if you've got a little pack of coffee or something like that in there, you're going to have to heat water. So remember that you'll need a pot to do that with. Now, if you have babies or children, you've got to put stuff in there for them. You've got to consider them, their needs. What are they going to have for the babies and children? Preferably a solar charger for your cell phone, because you're going to be away from home. You're not going to be in a place where you can plug in your phone and charge it. You're going to need a solar charger for that cell phone. So if you get in an area that you can call somebody for help, your phone, if it goes dead, you can recharge it. You need some good hiking boots. You need good shoes. Consider that now. If you're going to have to bug out and be on foot, you're going to need good shoes. Preferably hiking boots if you can afford them. You need those things. Water purification tablets. If you don't have straws, get the tablets. You can buy them also at Amazon. I think they may have had some of those at our local Walmart. I don't remember for sure now. But if they don't, I'll drop a link in the description below where you can order water purification tablets if you don't have any and you can't find any. A sturdy plastic cup and spoon in each bag. You need something to eat with. If you don't have to eat with your hands, you know, it's better, but if it comes down to it and you don't have room for it, you may have to let the cup or the spoon go. But you're still going to need a cup if you're going to fix noodles and things like that. You can drink them, but it's just easier to eat them with a spoon if you can fit it in. But you still need a cup. And the last thing I'd like to mention in this bag is your weapon of choice, because you may have to defend yourself under those circumstances. If you have to bug out in the middle of the night because of a civil unrest or a riot, if you have to bug out for things like that, you may have to defend yourself and your family. And I'm not going to tell you what kind of weapon you need, but you just need a weapon of your choice to defend your family with. And let me say this too, and I don't like to discuss this very much, but if you're in a situation that you have to defend your family and your life or the life of your family, then when you make a decision to defend them, follow through. Don't hesitate, because it could cost you your life or the life of your family. Now, I would never cherish doing that or never hope anyone would ever have to do it. But if you have to defend yourself, do it well. So think of these situations. You never know. You know, we've seen wildfires in California. We've seen earthquakes. We've seen floods. We've seen hurricanes come through. We've seen all kinds of things happen that could cause people to have to just leave in the middle of the day or middle of the night. During those wildfires in California, we saw people just jumping in their cars and leaving just like that. The police or the emergency personnel would come through and tell people, you've only got an hour. You've only got half an hour. Get out. You've been warned. Get out. That fire is right over the knoll behind you. But they just didn't have time to gather up stuff. So if they, if they'd have had a bug out bag, at least they would have some things to take with them. They would have a change of clothing and things like that, and some cash on them. So we just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. And something Sensible Prepper and put in here that's really good, that needs to be considered when you're doing these bug out bags, because you may have a bug out bag for years before you ever have to use it. And it's sitting there where you can get to it, and you don't want to forget it. And he said another tip on 72-hour kits or bug out bags is I change the clothing when we have a time change. So in the spring, when they change the time, he changes the clothing in that bug out bag. In the fall, when they change the time back again, he changes the clothing in their bags again. That will help you to remember to do that. Every time you have a time change, go through your bug out bag. He says I keep the clothes inside Ziploc bags. Each day will fit for my children. The older ones, it might take 2 bags for a day. I also change any vitamins and medicines, prescriptions, or over-the-counter snacks at that time also. So keep that in mind. These things need to be rotated. All this stuff needs to be rotated. And this gets it rotated twice a year, and it keeps the stuff fresh. That way it doesn't get old on you. Another thing you want to do, because you don't know when you may have to leave in the middle of the night, is keep your tank full of gas. Right now, especially in these times, you may have to leave out of here and not be able to find a gas station to stop at. There may not be anything open. If you can keep your gas tank topped off right now, you need to do it. Especially if you live in areas prone to violence or crime or civil unrest or natural disasters and things like that. Buddy, you just need to have your gas tank topped off. You may have to sit in your car overnight in a cold winter's night with the windows cracked and leaving the car running and running the heater to keep from freezing to death. And you need gas in that car or truck or whatever it is you have. And those things will help you in emergencies. And another thing about your vehicle is you can hide a small amount of money in your vehicle if you were to need to. Just take your plastic bag, like a zippered bag, a baggie, and put you some loose cash in it and roll it up and tape it up under the dashboard where it's out of sight and unseen. You don't have to tell anybody it's there, but keep that there, and you'll always have some cash money with you when you're out if you run into an emergency. Write essential information. Here's the last thing I'm going to talk about, I think. Is write essential information on the inside of your belt. If you have a belt or your children wear belts, write essential information on those belts with a blue ballpoint pen and writing over it 2 or 3 times so it takes really well. And if it's in a time where you're going to have jackets, write the children's names, write their ages, write your address, write your essential information with a black permanent marker on the inside of their jackets, on the inside of their clothing that you can write on, anything like that, so they could give that to people. If they were ever separated, they would have that information. Phone numbers, things like that, addresses that you might think would be important for that. Just try to think of things that might be important for you to be separated. It's just really important to have things and have them ready. I know it's a stressful situation. It stresses me to tell you that you might need it, but there may come a time that you do need it. I've mentioned before where we live here, and some people may ask me, no, I don't have a bug out bag. I'm not making a bug out bag. I live in a very rural country area, and we're 9 miles from the nearest city, and I have no plans of bugging out. If it comes to that, they'll just have to drag me out kicking. I'm not going anywhere. But now if I lived in a big city, or I lived in an area that was prone to violent outbreaks like these cities do, I would have a bug out bag, and I would have a plan of escape. That's the other thing you need to do, is you need to have a plan of escape. How will you leave the house? you know, what area in the house will you leave from? And you know, people have fires in their homes. If you have a fire in your home and you can get to your bag, what's your escape route? Put your bag in that escape route so you'll have it, so you can just grab it on your way out. You need to have plans of escape. And if you're in a bug out situation in a city like that, blend in. Look just like the rest of them. Just put on clothing that everybody else wears. Don't grab anything new and flashy or shiny. Just look like everybody else. We live in very unstable times. We just do. And Heidi said she had just seen a video of a family with 6 young children. Police arrived, told them they were trespassing and had 20 minutes to get out of their place of residence because the landlord had not paid his mortgage. It didn't matter that these people were on time with their rent. They had paid their rent on time, but the landlord no longer owned the building. So they were trespassing, and they had to get out of their house and only had 20 minutes to do it. Do you think they needed a bug out bag? I think so. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what can happen tomorrow. The list is, like Heidi said, the list is so long and so ugly of the things that could take place. We just don't know, folks. So again, let me encourage you at this time, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, that you seek him while he can be found. And whether you know Jesus or not, I want you to be safe. I want you to have what you need, and I want you to be able to protect your family. Do what's best, and do what's right. And seek the Lord. Lean upon him. If you're a follower of Christ, lean on him. His grace is sufficient for you, and always will be. So with that being said, we're going to wind this video up and say thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know your ideals about this thing. We appreciate it all. So God bless you all and have a great day. And until the next time, we'll see you all in the next video.